Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Lord of the Rings The Third Age walkthrough. We are in the East Emnet Gullies. And we're going to make a little trip back here through the Warg area. Again, I'm hoping that I explore to the right hand side and, well, let's see here. I know there's actually some treasures in this room, and they're like the glowing white orbs, and I'm looking like I'm passing by them, but we'll see. Anyways, I know there's a couple of pieces of equipment, and that's really the important part. Typically the battle items, you know, that's kind of like, whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's like 2 pieces of equipment in this room. So again, hopefully I either grab those items on my way through here, or I guess at the very least on the way back. We'll have to move through this area and then end up, unfortunately, doing a little backtracking and coming back. But again, I guess it is what it is. It's got to happen sometimes. As far as this fight goes, not too much to worry about here. The caster, I suppose, I don't know if he can be, I'm betting he could be silenced. So if you've got the silence from the Elfstone of Fell Shadow, you could make use of that. Otherwise, crippling shots will work on those guys, as well as the wargs. The wargs can be, I think, I don't know for sure if they can be stunned or not. But let's see if they can be paralyzed here. Looks like paralyzed is a go, so we're good there. And I believe the wargs can be even slept. At least that one. There are some, I think there's the albino wargs in here, and I don't believe those can be slept. You'll have to try, you know, different attacks to see what actually works on them or not. It's been a while now since I've gone through here, but I think generally I just kind of rip through this stuff. Let's see though. I don't know, it seems weird to me that I'm using haste, so that kind of usually tells me that I'm planning on being here for a little bit longer. Let's see if crippling lands, so if you just want to delay them, you know, for your, I don't know, heavy hitters or something, then go right ahead. It looks like I'm trying to build up some Shadowcraft abilities here. Alright, hopefully this doesn't, I don't think this battle takes too much longer. Yeah, alright, so the warg's down. Can't be a whole lot left then. Always a good idea to heal up a bit. It's kind of funny, normally Idriel's spirit powers end up leveling up very, very quickly for my playthroughs, just with the amount of healing that I do and like haste and whatnot. But for whatever reason, and maybe it was just the lack of healing in my playthrough here, but she didn't end up learning all of her abilities even through her spiritcraft tree. So kind of interesting. But again, I think that's because I didn't actually heal as much as I normally would, and I rarely used Aura of the Valor, which in previous playthroughs I've kind of abused the crap out of that skill because it's so good. It is one of the best abilities in the game. Oh, swing and a miss. And that is that's Hadhod's lack of dexterity. But that's okay. I'm not stressing about that at all yet. I should say ever, really. Alright, that's the end of that. Let's keep moving. Level up with Idriel, not too bad. Alright. I feel like, so for Idril, I don't feel like her Elven Inspiration or Grace of the Elder are really actually that great. Like, normally maybe I'd argue and say that they're kind of okay, but in all honesty, I don't know, and maybe it's because I've gone heavily into crafting, but I don't worry too much about her AP pool and really her AP regeneration. She's just got so many ways to to do that you just don't really need those passives. She's got the leeching, what is it, leeching strike or leeching whatever her sword skill is there that takes you know what, I'm gonna look it up here. Things like that bother me. Leech inspiration. All right, so she's got that. So that's one way to restore a ton of AP, and then the other way is just drain inspiration. So she's got she's got an ability in each one of her trees that allows her to get AP back. So again, I'm not too worried about her AP total as well as her, like, I guess, regeneration of AP. So anyways, long story short, I went with what was it? There's a passive there that allows her to take reduced damage from shadow type effects, and the weird thing about Idril is she's just so tanky in so many ways. Just not even just her armor, because the basic or the base armor she's got is awesome. It's ridiculous. And then on top of that, she gets, some of the more damaging abilities in the game are like shadow abilities, and she's got, an innate shadow resistance. So again, she just ends up being super tanky. Granted, her constitution isn't that great, neither is her health, but she just reduces so much damage that it doesn't seem to really make that much of a difference. She just doesn't really need, in my eyes, she doesn't need that extra health. Now that's to say, if you want to build a little constitution in her, then, go right ahead. But for me, I just really don't, I guess I'm just not worried about it. I think everybody, yeah, pretty much everybody, I kind of built like glass cannons. So, like I said, there isn't a single point of constitution that I put into anybody as I was leveling them. So... again, if that's not how you like to do it, then that's all right. But I didn't feel the need. All right, using up some AP on crippling. Again, real reason for that is I just wanted to get Berethor his shadow abilities learned. And again, with just with the way that I built, if you're going more like a physical-oriented Berethor, and granted, he just does such good damage. He really does at the end of the game, and especially, if you're investing in his strength and whatnot. But that being said, I feel like he does a really good job as kind of like a utility character as well. So. That's the route that I'm going. Now, again, at the end of the game, even this Berethor, who I literally never put a single point into strength, he still ends up hitting extremely hard at the end of the game. So, we'll have to check that out. All right, so there's the last word going down to the mighty axe of Hadhod, the Hadhoderator. Alright. Alright, junkie rewards. That's okay. So let's make our way down here. And by the way, so this is another one of those spots, if you can see at the top left-hand corner, where the eye is consistently growing here, even though we're not moving. So this, like I said, this is yet another one of those areas in the game where you can just sit and, I guess, if you... I don't know. It's tough to say if it would be a good idea or not to just farm here. I really don't feel like that would be a very viable option. But you know, I guess that cuts down the running around in between random fights, I suppose. So if you find that annoying, well, then here's your place, or here's your spot. Alright, what are we doing here? Okay, so the... Okay, and I think I was wrong on the names of these. I thought that one was an albino. So the grizzled greater warg. Those guys are not susceptible to sleep. So it looks like paralyzing shot will land on them though. So that is I guess another answer to them, or to keeping them under control, I suppose. Unfortunately, it's not looking like I tried silencing the casters though. Now I kind of want to know if that actually works or not. And I don't think I used examine on them to really check what they're immune to. So that's unfortunate, but I suspect that they could be silenced. But again, who knows? I don't know. Crippling shot works fairly well though. You know, and ooh, nice. Learn Fangorn Roots. My impression is that Fangorn Roots is basically a kind of like a lock-all. It does like paralyzing shot and arrow splinters and like a silencing shot all in one. Basically like complete immobilization. I actually haven't tried it, which is kind of funny. Oh, there we go. Learn silence. Very nice. And I guess I decided to just use it right away. Weird. Oh, I think it's because I was used to pressing over to get to crippling, and now crippling has moved down, so I clicked over to silence on accident. Anyways. Alright, what are we going to learn next here? Alright, learning black speech. And, you know, hopefully maybe even in this video we'll get to see that. But you can also see here that we learn these abilities incredibly fast. I mean, I don't know. It's really crazy. I'm surprised that they, you know, decided to make those learnable so quickly. I mean, granted, yeah, we're already, what, 3 or 4 areas into the game, you know, but still, you know, they're just so good. Or at least this, the Fell, was it Fell Shadow? Yeah, Fell Shadow. Abilities are just crazy. They're really good. Alright. Oh, yeah, I'm constantly trying to figure out what to use and what not to. A lot of the times you'll see me just not equip things because on somebody like Idril, I just don't do a whole lot of, you know, attacking with her swordcraft skills. So typically I'll just pick a sword that's got decent speed, or maybe, potentially, maybe, I guess, a spirit bonus. Alright, so here's another good thing about crippling is, like I said earlier, is that it kind of adds abilities that your characters wouldn't normally have. Sorry. And crippling is a really big one. I mean, just the fact that you can keep delaying the turns of... Granted, it's not every enemy, but there's so many enemies in the game that are vulnerable to that. And it kind of just goes along really... Granted, yes, it doesn't do any damage. That's the only real shame about crippling, is that... well, it's, I guess, a double-edged sword. But anyways, you know, the crappy thing about it is it doesn't do damage, but at the same time, it gives, kind of like your other characters, chances to get shots in again before... Essentially before you get attacked again, if that makes sense. And again, that's really the biggest... That's really the reason why I even use those type abilities. You know, just you disable them, or get everybody disabled, or, you know, with the inability to attack you, That way you don't have to worry about healing and you can just concentrate on, you know, dealing damage. So that's kind of how I roll, I guess. And here I'm just, you know, crippling over and over just to learn, essentially to learn Black Speech early. And the crazy thing is, if you can get like, so Barathor is obviously hasted right now, and if you can get, if you can put haste on somebody, and then if you cripple the same enemy over and over and over, it pushes their turn so far down to the bottom that, you know, oftentimes it won't even matter. Your characters will get so many actions that there'd be no way that that enemy would even, you know, potentially get another turn. Black, Dwarven Black Iron Vambraces, is that what that was worth? Anyways, armor for Hadhad, which is always a good thing. Alright, so the elves tell you that their comrades have split up and gone all these different ways, which, you know, whatever. The red dots on the map are where the elves are at. But typically, if you're exploring, you know, as well as, or being thorough about your exploration, you're not going to miss anything anyway, so. Alright. Get Hadhad all equipped. Alright. It's funny though, so there's another elf that's actually across the little chasm there. It's funny though that they don't, I guess, show him until you get closer. Or I should say maybe come from the correct path. Anyway, so right up here in this big open room, once again, there's a couple of treasures there, and hopefully I grabbed them. Otherwise, I guess just know that it's there and, you know, explore. Ooh, did silence land on that guy over there? It sure looked like it did. It didn't, I didn't see an immune message, which is kind of interesting too. I didn't realize that silence was multi-target, so that's actually pretty awesome. Yeah, it sure looks like he's silenced. I can't really tell though because the warg right in front of us is kind of blocking, you know, any icons. I'm actually not seeing an icon over that guy's head. Maybe there isn't one for silence. Alright. Keep crippling dudes. Actually totally want to check this out here. Let's see if I can get silence to land here. Oh, womp womp. Fighting another, or actually I should say I'm playing through again while I do the commentary here, and I was just trying to get a silence to land on an enemy so I could see if you know, if it gave me an icon or not, and I'm not. Actually, all the guys that I tried to use it on are immune, so it's not going to. Unfortunately, it's not going to, or I can't answer that question yet. Hopefully a little bit later, though. Alright, so yeah, again, unfortunately, I really milked out this fight because I'm trying to learn those Shadowcraft skills. I think about, it's either the next video or the following video. I basically take a break in between and level up. Let's see, Barathor, Hadhad, and Idril's Shadowcraft. So you won't have to suffer through this, you know, constantly using cripple in the same fight, you know, over and over and over. So again, I guess just bear with me. Unfortunately, I did a little bit extra, you know, skill building in the middle of this playthrough, and I really didn't expect to, but sometimes it's tough. It's tough not to. 250 old Toby. Jeez. So again, I did a ton of crafting, if that wasn't completely obvious. Alright, I'm checking on... Oh, lame. Yeah, so there I got a point into Ranger War Rally, and that's like one of the worst passives for Elagast. You know, it's not bad. Yep, I'm passing up those items there in that cave, so I apologize, but the far... What would it be? The far east side of that cave has a couple items in it, and they'll just be white orbs. And like I said before, I believe there's 2 pieces of equipment there, so I actually missed some here.
We meet again on the other side.
You are transformed.
Yes, the need is great.
What are you doing here?
At this moment, warning you of orcs ahead.
Alright, so Gandalf is transformed. If you've seen the movies, well, you probably already saw that coming. Put all these chumps to sleep. The other cool thing about, actually maybe I mentioned this before, but one of the cooler things about leveling up that the Shadowcraft is if you put the enemies to sleep like this, and Elagast has his lingering sleep passive, you won't wake them up when you cast Crippling, because Crippling doesn't do any damage. So it's a very easy way to... It's a very easy skill tree to just level up. That and, you know, Whip of the Master is basically just a group buff too, and that works even better, I'd say. It's actually cheaper, and you know, there's no worry about waking up the enemy. I guess not that there really is a worry of waking them up anyway. Again, as long as you've got sleep arrows. Or arrows of sleep, I forget the actual wording. Alright, Valor and Might. Get some Grace up here so we can get our AP back. Look at that. Ugh, so much AP back. I love it. It's so good, that combo. It's too good. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I think I was really trying to get Elagast's Ranger skills up here too, because they were... I mean, obviously with the just the amount of spamming Crippling Shot, there's Black Speech, and I hope I use that too. So, well, maybe not now. It's not going to be as awesome looking if there's only one enemy. Alright, Hadhod finishes it off. Let's continue on. Anyways, Black Speech is awesome. It's got a cool little audio effect to it as well. It's actually one of the cooler things, which I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but Hadhod's Endure Flame skill has probably the coolest audio to it in the entire game of all the different skills. I just love it. It sounds so cool. Anyways, that was kind of random. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was. Anyway. Alright. Oh, all kinds of fun orcs. So here's one cool thing about Idril is her Elven or Valorous Haste. So I use that on Elagos so that he immediately takes his turn. And then I just sleep everything. So rather than take hits from, 3 different enemies for sure. Actually, I guess I could have just nuked one of them. So there's a chance that only 2 enemies would have got their turn. If Idril would have been able to one-shot, a target. But anyways, it's a really neat ability that she's got there. So like, especially towards the end of the game where her damage really starts to fall off. So you can just, basically give her turn to somebody else. But, well, back to using Crippling. I know I wanted to get down to Wheel of Fire, or I think that's the one. Wheel of Fire, is it? Anyways, that skill is awesome. So it looks like, actually, yeah, this battle doesn't last too much longer, so I'm not sure exactly how I finish this out, but hopefully I'll get to see a Black Speech. I know that that'll be coming up in, maybe, I got him targeted. This could be it. There it is. Boom! So there it is. There's your first look at Black Speech and its crazy awesomeness. You're not going to be able to one-shot everybody, but it is insane damage right now. And here we've discovered the Elven Outpost, or was it Rohan Outpost? Something like that. I kind of cruised around here looking for stuff, but there's unfortunately nothing back here. Just a bunch of helmets on spears. And then we do have this cave, though, which we are totally going to pillage. Right after I Black Speech these dudes. Oh, only 1.4k. Womp womp. So sad. I don't remember if Company Might affects the damage from that or not. I feel like it does, but don't quote me, because I don't remember. Excuse me. Eventually, actually, probably the problem was when I was building Barethor, I went way overboard on the speed. And, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I should say overboard, but I went really heavy on speed so that he could buff more often. But, that also meant that I didn't put as many points into his spirit, so then his damage on these abilities won't be as much. But that gets solved here in a little bit. But anyways, I think this battle, we're going to finish up this battle and then save. And then we'll continue the playthrough right after this. So hope these guides are being helpful to you, and hope you keep watching. And thanks for joining me.